Oh, yeah.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
As I was walking down the street one day, a man came up to me and asked me what the time.
Welcome in. Middle of June, weekend of Father's Day. You know what that means. U.S. Open. We make our picks today. The Stanley Cup begins this evening. I'm assuming, J-Mo, like me, because I picked the Avalanche pre-Stanley Cups to win the whole thing, but your hatred of the Lightning, because they've knocked off two of your teams.
That's right.
The Panthers.
My only two teams.
That's it? The Panthers and the Rangers are your only two teams?
That's all I got.
So I'm assuming that you're with me. It's all Avs here.
All Avs.
Colorado all the way, baby. May the altitude of the mile-high city get to the Lightning. That starts tonight. Of course, tomorrow we got the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. I was at a dinner last night with three other guys that I think they're really successful at what they do. They're all sports savvy, and I consider them to be intelligent guys. Every one of those three guys is amazing to me. They all believe that there is definitely going to be a seventh game in the NBA. And it's not because, well, it's in Boston and all that. It's because they have the conspiracy theory, and they think it really began with Game 5, that the officiating was so deferential to Golden State in San Francisco. They truly believe there's no question Boston gets that same treatment this time, and it's going back for a Game 7 because Game 7s mean more money.
It certainly does. And, I honestly do think it goes Game 7. And it seems like a lot of times whenever I hear people with those kind of conspiracy theories, they end up being right. But I don't think it's because of their logic. It just happened to be a coincidence that the same situation happened both ways.
I love conspiracy theories. I truly do. I don't believe that.
But I do think Boston wins.
Although, one of them pointed out, they said, did you ever read the Dunahee book? And Tim Dunahee, if you don't remember, he was the crooked ref. And he says there was a guy in the book. I didn't read it. But this is what I'm told by a person who did read the book, who says in the book they had a referee whose nickname was Game 7 because he was making sure when they got to the playoffs they would all go to the max. Now, I don't know. I would think with all the replays and everything else you got, it really would be hard to do that. I do think in Game 5 that Golden State got, if we were going to say which team got the better calls, and you're trying to be objective, I do think, like, was it Marcus Smart that jumped to go get the jump ball with Draymond Green, who does that stuff all the time and nothing's ever called, and Smart jumps over, and on the replay, he never touches him, and he got called for a foul. That kind of stuff. There was two or three like that.
There was another one to the same point. It was Marcus Smart and Jordan Poole where he's like, it's a side out of bounds and he's trying to get the ball, like waving his arm out. He goes to get the ball, and when he does it, he like moves his hand up, totally whiffs and doesn't hit Jordan Poole. But Jordan Poole actually got hit in the face.
That's, you know what, you should give a technical foul for that. If you are feigning getting hit in the face, that's crazy. There was another play where and I can't remember which Golden State player, it might have been Poole, where he's actually holding on to, I don't think it was Tatum. He's holding on to a Celtic, and then the Celtic pulls his arm out, and when he pulls his arm out, the the Warrior falls down like he got shoved. And the replay shows. I mean, there were a bunch of calls like that. And I'm sure there were some on the other way. And the officials got fooled. That's all. I think they did get the better of the calls. Maybe that'll happen again, but I don't believe in the conspiracy theories.
Players are also getting way better at fooling officials. Like the plays that players make, like there's one play that players make a lot nowadays is they're like driving in and they'll have their elbow up, and when they get a player arm trapped beneath their elbow, they'll put it down and then trap their arm on their side.
Yeah.
Automatic foul call. Players are, I mean, it really is a skill because that is incredibly high level of difficulty to do things like that. It does make the game worse because they're not real fouls. However, you got to be impressed with the ability of players to be able to draw fouls like that.
The best one that I think has developed in the last couple of years is if a guy puts his hand out to be a defender, just, because you always say put your hand out, right? Get it in his face or whatever, and then the guy takes the ball with two hands and hits the arm. He could be 40 feet away, and he does that and shoots, right? That's a three-shot foul.
Every time.
But the worst is when they feign, like getting hit in the face, and then you see on the replay, he didn't get touched. If that's me and I'm an official, I'm teeing the guy right there.
They have the new flopping rules too, but you don't see it called even. And
No.
you also get a warning first too.
No.
It's just people don't want to call that.
No, I agree. It's going to be hot today. The humidity's not going to be as bad as Monday, but I bring that up because if those of you are going to play golf, I just remind everybody, drink a whole bunch of fluids because it's hot as the dickens out there. Humidity's not going to be as bad as it was, but it's still hot as the dickens. But I saw this video. I mean, we've got a weather pattern right now. What was it that I saw? It's like 40 million people are involved in severe weather of some kind, whether it's a heat wave or it's the flooding. Have you seen the flooding out west? In Montana, they had to close down Yellowstone. Now, I don't remember a national park being totally closed due to flooding. I mean, this is a mammoth park. If you've never been to Yellowstone, you need to go because it is a true treasure of the United States of America. But there was a house that's outside of the park that is on the main river that feeds into Yellowstone that's flooding. There's a video. All the news networks had it last night. There's a video. This house is on the banks of the river, and the river rises, and its current is so strong, it literally takes the house off of its foundation and sweeps it down the river. I couldn't believe it. And that same river then took out a bridge. A bridge! The bridge just disappears.
Yeah, according to Washington Post, like you said, 48 states, all, assuming not Alaska and Hawaii, all affected by severe weather in some way right now. That's incredible.
Isn't it? It's just nutso. But, it's actually supposed to get pleasant for the Father's Day weekend, so we can be thankful for that. 901 FC tonight at Connecticut. They lost the game. Still the best record in the Eastern Conference. They lost the game. Did you hear what happened in that game?
No.
With Birmingham. So they have possession of the ball 61% of the time. 61% of the time. And they've had more shots, but they hadn't had really good shots. Birmingham played a pretty good game. But it was a weird game because they started the game, then they had a lightning warning, and I think they had like a 3-hour delay. And that affected the game for sure. And then they come back, and I guess probably both teams are lethargic or whatever, and they're putting on a display of defense. In the 90th minute, and folks, a soccer game is 90 minutes. In the 90th minute, Birmingham gets a fluke goal after, and again, 901 FC had literally 61% of the possession time. They're the better team. Fluky things like that happen. Tonight they're playing a team in Hartford that is not very good, so they should bounce back tonight. Ben Pierman was the coach of the month in the USL, and Jerry Kelly was the player of the month in the USL for May. They didn't lose in May. So, folks, they're back for 2 games, not this week, next week. If you really want to trade, this is a good team. I mean, this is the best team they've ever had. And last year's team was pretty good and made the playoffs. You get a chance. Go check them out. Did you see what's happened in England at a tune-up, the Queen's Cup? It's a Wimbledon tune-up.
I have not seen this.
This is cool. A former Tiger tennis player whose name is Ryan Peniston. So really now the U of M has 2 alums that are pretty good on the men's tennis circuit. Joe Salisbury is one of the top doubles players in the world. He's won 2 or 3 majors. And this guy, Ryan Peniston, now is moving up in the rankings. Yesterday, he knocked off the number 1 seed, who was the runner-up at the French Open. I know you saw some of that. Christian Ruud's his name, and he's supposed to be the sweetest guy, except for his name, Ruud. He is an up-and-coming guy. So he's the number 1 seed. He's the number 5 player in the world, and Peniston beats him yesterday in the first round of the Queen's Cup, the tune-up for Wimbledon. That's incredible.
Both sets went to a tiebreak.
Yeah, and then he killed him in both tiebreaks.
He
It
did.
was like
7-4, 7-2.
2. Yeah, I mean, crazy. So that is cool. How about the close call last night for Miles Mikolas?
The 2 outs in the 9th inning. There's no worse way to lose it.
Oh yeah, there is. 2 strikes on the guy.
That's right. 2 strikes too.
There's a worse way. Now I heard this story. I happened to be listening to some radio last night, and there was a national guy, and I can't even remember which station it was, probably ours, but it was a national guy who's friends with a guy that is on this show on a semi-regular basis. He's a former Saluki, former Tulane announcer, former Pelican announcer, and now does college football games and Major League Baseball games and some NBA for ESPN. His name is Sean Kelly. Sean Kelly is from the St. Louis area. Thus, that's why he went to the great Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. And Sean Kelly, apparently, and I don't follow him, so I didn't realize, but he tweets a pretty good amount. And he's a diehard Cardinal fan. So Sean Kelly tweeted out after the first or second strike, he goes, "Watch those Cardinals. Mikolas about to get a no-hitter. Swing and a line drive, deep center field. Ground rule double."
He jinxed him.
He jinxed him. Miles Mikolas, 1 pitch from the no-hitter, 1 strike away against the Pirates. Cal Mitchell doubled, and it was a definite hit. That was not like you were going to stop it. It was a line drive over the head of the center fielder that bounces into the stands. That's a ground rule double.
1 bounce. I mean, that was almost a home run.
So, how about this though? And I feel for Mikolas. They kept him in because he had a no-hitter. How many times do we see that in this day and age?
Never.
Seriously, there have been 3 or 4 where guys had no-hitters this year and they took them out, right? And I'm not making that up.
No, always. You're right.
Mikolas, that pitch, which they then took him out after he lost the no-hitter, was his 129th pitch. 129. I mean, usually you hit 100 in this day and age, see you later. Good job. You went 100 pitches. We love you for that. 129. I feel really bad for him. Cardinals won a day-night doubleheader. They're in first place. They're 2.5 up on Milwaukee now.
Milwaukee's scary, though. They just got such good pitching. I don't know if the Cardinals can contend, but you know who starts today for the Cardinals? Jack Flaherty makes his inaugural start today for the Cardinals, so maybe that pitching rotation's getting a little bit stronger in St. Louis.
They brought up some folks from the Redbirds that have already contributed.
There's a kid, Brendan Donovan, is hitting really well, who I didn't really expect anything from, but he's been a really good addition to the team.
Yeah. Transfer portal news, football. Memphis has done a pretty good job of keeping many of the guys. Well, we saw Grant Cannell leave, and that's because he wasn't going to start. And the shortest commodity in any college sport is going to be the backup quarterback because only one quarterback plays. Let's face it. You look at every other position, there's rotation. There's not rotation of any meaningful time for a backup quarterback. And so if a guy thinks he's at a program that may be above the level of, say, in North Texas, and you think you can start at North Texas, and you're clearly handwriting's on the wall, even if you had a good spring, handwriting's on the wall that you're not going to be the starter, you're going to go where you can play. I don't blame the guy. But that's the reality of the portal now, and that's unfortunately the case, and that's why the Tigers did lose Grant Gunnell. But yesterday they lost a guy that was originally a power conference player, a 4-star recruit. Never lived up to the billing, to be honest. Did play a bit for the U of M, and that is Kayode Oladele. And Jarvis Greer, who will be with us at the end of this particular show, always had fun with that name. I'm not sure he ever got the name right, but he had a lot of fun with it. It's like playing on your ukulele.
Memphis doesn't have any matches with North Texas anytime soon. He doesn't get another chance to redeem himself on the name, does he?
Well, he's not going to North Texas. That was Grant Gunnell who's going to North
Grant
Texas.
Gunnell's going to North
He's
Texas.
just leaving. But Memphis, he's leaving because Memphis does have a lot of depth at defensive line. So here's a guy who, and I hate to say this, he may have been overrated because he was a power conference guy that never got to play in the power conference, transferred here, and never was a main guy. But he saw handwriting on the wall as well, I would guess, especially with the timing of the decision to transfer. And again, I don't know that this is the case, but if you look at transfer portal players, at least 50% of those are those that were told to enter the transfer portal. It does work both ways. A lot of fans get frustrated by the ease of the power of the portal, but in truth, it became the easiest way to get rid of a problem. You go to that player, you and I both know this is not working out. I'm kicking you off the team, but I'm not saying you're kicked off the team. All you got to do is say, you're entering the transfer portal. It's between us. Good luck to you. And that happens, I would say, at least 50% of the time.
They should have like an asterisk or something on their name next to it
Yeah.
if they were asked to leave versus left voluntarily.
Speaking of the transfer portal, when it comes to basketball, we saw the big news, yesterday. We've talked about it. We had Bruce Howard on about Frank Haith. And from all the talk radio reviews that I've heard, everybody, I think, is really pretty darn pleased about Haith. Heck, one thing for sure is that Penny will get inside knowledge on that matchup zone, which has stymied his offenses for a couple of years now, because they're not the only ones that play the matchup zone. And I thought Memphis got a little bit better against it as the year went on. But, let's face it, he did have an 80-40 win over Penny. But you need players. Now, there are some who think you don't need that many guys. Davis, with Williams coming back, you did lose Lester. If you hadn't lost Lester, you might not need any more. With KO, with the kid McFadden, is that his name? That was the Sun Belt guy. And Davis, you're pretty set, particularly if Jonathan Lawson lives up to his high school billing, and I suspect he will. Also, I think Chandler Lawson, who will be healthy, will finally be good. But there are a couple of guys that are still, I think, quality players in the portal that would help Penny.
McCadden, not McFadden. I'm sorry.
McCadden.
I forgot.
That's okay. Elijah McCadden, is that his
That's
name?
right.
Yeah. I promise you, by the time he starts playing, we'll know him.
It's early.
Yeah. He's like an Earl Timberlake kind of a guy.
But big guard.
But experienced.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you handles the ball better, too. There's two guys, I think, still in the portal that make sense. One, Memphis played last year in the NCAA tournament. The kid from Boise named Emmanuel Akot, who's a big guard. And I think he can shoot a little from the outside. He's a good defensive player. I don't know. I mean, I do believe their guy was Kerwin Walton. But if you don't get Walton, I think this is a really good substitute if you get him. And, again, we'll have Jason Munz on Friday. I do think he would be a good guy to have. The other, because Penny has talked about having a hybrid big man. So we all know what a hybrid big man is a guy who's 6'10", who's a post player primarily, but is able to go out and shoot. And the guy that's the perfect guy for that is the Northwestern 6'10" post player, Pete Nance. He's still there. Most of the experts are saying he's going to go to North Carolina. And Acot's got some other opportunities too. But if Penny could get both those guys, this is going to be a good year. If Penny gets one of these two guys, it'll be a pretty good year. I think the nucleus is there, and Penny doesn't want a huge amount of guys again. I think he only wants 7 to 8 that he knows he can really play.
Certainly, it seems that way. It looks like this guy, Pete Nance, is on an official visit to North Carolina right now.
Okay, so you'll probably know today if that's where he's going. If he doesn't go there, maybe you got a shot at him. Who knows? It is the first year, and I think a lot of that has to do with the IARP, personally. This is the first year, though, that Penny has had a lot of losses in that, with speculation as to guys who are coming. And I do think that is the story. One last thing, and we got to take a break, and we're going to make golf picks with our good friends Johnny Lyon and Mickey Barker. And that is the Cedric Henderson Jr. story. So Henderson plays for his dad, right? Doesn't get – he's I want to say he's a 6'5" wing who's he's like his dad. He's real physical presence, has a lot of athletic gifts. In high school, he was not sought after. And he
was good, though, in high school. Man alive.
But he ended up playing for his dad at Southwest Tennessee. Then his dad got let go, and he didn't want to stick around. And he wanted to go to a Power 5, but nobody was interested. So he goes to Campbell. He spends 2 years at Campbell. He does a really good job and enters the portal because he feels the best chances for him to play pro, even overseas, is, and the way it was put in the story I read, you either have to be like your conference player of the year or you have to go to a Power 5 in order to get the kind of exposure to be known in Europe. So he puts himself in the portal, and all of a sudden he's got great offers from several Power 5 schools. He ends up at Arizona. Memphis had no interest, which was a little surprising to me, but it's the case. But he's going to go to Arizona. So the Cedric Henderson Jr. story has a very happy ending. And I'll bet you it will lead to him getting opportunities to play and make decent money as a professional basketball player. All right, we are off and running in the Family Leisure Studios, and a reminder, the Vacation at Home sale, which includes trampolines and play gyms and big money off, like $500, hot tubs, $1,000 off if you pick them up yourself. And pool, guys, if you want an above-ground pool, you'll never get a better deal than this, especially if you're a do-it-yourselfer. Pick it up, install it yourself, save $1,500 on any above-ground pool in stock at Family Leisure. You can't beat the Vacation at Home sale at I-40 and Whitten Road. And our title sponsor, you know by now, that's the good folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai, where Chris True and his gang have this one pledge to you: you'll never pay more than sticker price. And you know, with the shortages and the law of supply and demand, there's a lot of dealerships out there that are saying, look, we're in business. We got to take advantage when we can of the laws of supply and demand. It doesn't happen at Homer Skelton Hyundai, right there at the corner of Highway 78, Lamar, and the first exit in Mississippi Craft Road. That's why they get so much repeat business. They take care of you. You'll never pay more than sticker price on a new car from Homer Skelton Hyundai. Johnny Lyon and Mickey Barker are next. We got lots to talk about, considering the Live and this week's U.S. Open, who wins, and then we make our picks. That's next on Wolo and Friends.
Let former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let's say you need a new car, so you go to a dealer, right? Wrong. You need to go to Mount Moriah Auto Sales. Why? Because why limit yourself to just one kind of car when you can choose from all kinds of cars, SUVs, and trucks? All different years, all different makes, all different models. Really good prices, too. Now, everyone says that about the money, but Mount Moriah Auto Sales proves it. They work hard to get you the deal you want, even financing. Plus, they have a huge full-service department to help you take care of your car. So many choices at Mount Moriah Auto Sales. They're almost unlimited, with new vehicles coming in every day. Now, these are really good cars and trucks and SUVs that you'll want to drive. And yes, low miles too. It's so easy. Just go to Mount Moriah Auto Sales, tell them what you want, but keep your eyes open because you might just find the car of your dreams. Mount Moriah Auto Sales makes it all possible. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner, right on the price, right on Mount Moriah.
Mayor Jim Strickland and the Memphis Office of Youth Services present the Mid-South Golden Gloves Regional Boxing Tournament, June 24th and 25th at the Pipkin Building, 940 Early Maxwell. For ticket information, call 901-636-6264.
Hilltop Wine and Spirits, 7034 Highway 64 in Oakland, has the best prices on hundreds of your favorite brands of wine, beer, and spirits. Not sure how things taste? That's why there's a tasting room. Enjoy taste testing wine, spirits, beers, craft beers, even after dinner drinks. You have all kinds of special occasions coming up, and Hilltop Wine and Spirits can help you make those occasions memorable. You got a corporate event, a reception, an anniversary, or just a birthday with friends. Find the best selection and prices at Hilltop Wine and Spirits, 7034 Highway 64 in Oakland. It's time for the 64th Annual St. Louis Hole-in-One Charity Festival, running Sunday, June 19th through Saturday, June 25th. The top 10 winners of the week-long Carnival Cup will get a chance to win $1 million. Golfers will also have a chance to win $25,000 toward the purchase of a vehicle from City Auto. There'll be the popular children's golf Saturday from 2 to 4. There'll also be nightly cornhole tournaments and, of course, carnival rides Friday and Saturday nights. It's a week of great food and family fun, all at St. Louis Catholic Church, 203 South White Station Road.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
One of my favorite times of the week when we get together with Johnny Lyon and Mickey Barker. We talk golf, we make picks. We do that in a second, but I do want to remind everybody it's time to say thanks to Dad because Father's Day is this Sunday. So you got to remember his special day was something amazing and sweet and special, and that's Dinstall's. Not sure what to get him? Well, I'll give you a few ideas. Cashew Crunch, Pecan Brittle, and Peanut Brittle. A trio of butter brittles. That'll make him smile. You're going to love the special price just in time for Father's Day, too. It's like a summer sizzler special. It's that good a deal. And now they got chocolate-covered raspberries. They're back as well, of course, as strawberries, grapes, and pineapples. And don't forget my other favorite thing, the turtlettes or the chocolate-covered nuts, all covered in Dinstall's rich milk or, more healthy, dark chocolate. Stop by Dinstall's for Dad's favorite at either Laurelwood, my neck of the woods, Germantown, Collierville, downtown, or where they make all the candies, Pleasant View. Dinstall's, they've been making sweet memories for over 120 years. So the head of golf for the city of Memphis, who's got a press conference coming up, I believe, next Thursday. Mickey Barker joins us, and our friend, former publisher, editor of Mid-South Golfer, Johnny Lyon. We make picks every week. Mickey, I hate to say this to you, but I've passed you by. J-Mo last. Mickey is going to pick second. Now I pick third. I'm a $500,000 with $3.9 million behind Johnny Lyon, who's got $4.4 million. Gentlemen, and Mickey Barker, let's start with the Live Tour last week, the comments that have been made. I don't know if you heard Brandel Chambly just absolutely rip Phil Mickelson for being a phony the other day. Brooks Koepka is blaming the media yesterday for bringing up the Live when they're at the U.S. Open. That's the story. It's not the media's fault. What is your sense of the way this whole thing is going? This has been one of the weirdest times I can remember in professional golf history. Mickey?
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's very strange that to have this tour going on. I know that with the NFL, they've had the USFL came along and had different leagues that have tried to play. But in my lifetime, I've never seen anything like this in golf. You have that much money, it's going to draw a lot of attention.
Johnny, do you think there's a cloud over the U.S. Open because there's rift between players?
The statements from Brandel Chamblee are just totally bizarre. He wanted to kick Phil Mickelson and Greg Moran out of the Hall of Fame. He called Phil Mickelson a decaying asset. I mean, he ripped him up and down the wall. And, Phil's 51 years old, and you can't hardly blame him for taking the money. But the newest twist on all this is Dustin Johnson has applied for the European DP Tour. And the rumor is that the European DP Tour and the Live Tour are possibly merging.
I've heard that.
So it's really confusing.
Well, this is truly, and so it puts the commissioner, Jay Monahan, in a tough position because Jay Monahan has to protect his assets. He's got a league with players. He's got tournament sites. He's got sponsors that make it all happen, and he's being attacked. And I've heard about that merger. So what may end up happening is that you'll have some sort of a negotiated peace settlement where they get X amount of events. Maybe they'll up the minimum amount on the PGA side to protect themselves in that regard. And there'll be a European league that the PGA won't be involved in. And the Saudis, I guess, will own that. And the PGA will remain the same. I guess that's one answer, Mickey Barker. I don't know what else. Because as you just said, Monahan is up against an entity that doesn't care about fiscal responsibility. Monahan's team, his league, has to make money. The other does not. It can lose $600 billion.
Right, and of course the PGA Tour is not. They've got plenty of money. I'm not feeling sorry for them at all, and they're a nonprofit, so they don't have to make a profit, but they still have to. They just can't throw money out like the Saudis are throwing it out in billions as opposed to millions.
Yeah.
So he's in a tough spot. It's a tough spot. I think he's still the big brother. He's still the top tour in the world. So I think the PGA Tour is going to be fine, especially since they have their top players have committed to the PGA Tour and are going to stay.
Right.
So I'm not worried about the PGA Tour.
There's not a top 10 guy. Phil, like you just said, Johnny, he's 51 years old. Dustin Johnson, I think, is past his prime. A guy like Charles Schwartzel, who won last week the first live thing in London, he hadn't won in 4.5 years. You can't blame them. They're going there with big eyes because they can make more money. And heck, there's nobody to really compete against them. Dustin Johnson, or maybe now DeChambeau when he starts, they should win every week because there's not that much competition. And Johnny, they haven't lost a top 10 guy yet. I don't see him losing it.
I'm a big Phil fan, and as you know, Phil played in the FedEx St. Jude many years and was the star headliner and was very accessible to the media. And Tiger Woods never came here, okay? So Phil Mickelson, I think, is a big FedEx St. Jude guy, and I don't like to see the way they're talking about him.
I would say that Phil's brought this upon himself. Brandel Chamblee went all the way back to the way he treated Tom Watson. He when he ripped him, he gave reasons to rip him. I ask you this: do you think Phil gets booed in Boston, Johnny? Because
I don't. I think people would be rooting for him.
I think he gets booed. Mickey, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't believe it'll be a warm reception. Fortunately, he's been out there in practice rounds, so whatever's going to happen has already happened for the most part. So he'll be ready for it. But I don't think it'll be a great reception on the first tee.
All right. I think it's going to be a great U.S. Open. Mickey, I'll start with you, and then Johnny will get your thoughts on this afterwards. Paul McGinley, who's on with Brandel Chambly, and I think that's a great tandem on the Golf Channel. He likened the modern player versus the old-fashioned course, which is the Country Club, because it was the first in Brookline, Massachusetts. Heck, it's been open since the late 1800s. It was a neat way to put it. Modern player versus old-fashioned course, which are different than the way we make them today. I think it was a great way to put it. And Mickey, most of the time, these old-fashioned courses win. The last 4 or 5 U.S. Opens that have been over par came on one of these old-fashioned courses.
Right. The course, I believe, will hold up. I'm looking at a little bit of the course layout, pictures of the holes, fantastic layout, really undulating greens, really deep, rough, native areas that are just off of the fairways. I think the guys that don't control their golf ball or try to just, play the bomb and gouge game, I don't know how well that's going to work. Just because you're not going to be able to control the ball on the green. It's going to run off down in the chipping area. It's going to be tough.
Johnny, what do you think happens this weekend?
I think the winning score is going to be about 4 or 5 under. It's going to be, par is going to be a premium. And I like the guys that have the good iron game.
Well, then you must love Rory, because if he hits it like he did in Canada, in Toronto, I don't see how he gets beaten. His wedges were unbelievable. He's hitting 360-yard drives, and he's won a back-to-back tournament and then a major. He did that in 2014, so that precedent is there. I'm going to say that the winning score will be 2 under. I don't think it'll go over, but I think it is going to be very difficult, and I agree with you. Par will definitely be your friend. All right, we got to make our picks, and we'll start with J-Mo, J. Morgan Harder, mired in last place with a total of $2.6 million. J-Mo, you got a bunch of people that you can – even the live guys are in there for you. Dustin Johnson should be your pick.
I'm tortured by indecision right now. Trying to pick one person is a torturous experience, but I'm going to go with Max Homa, I think. I'm going to be a Max Homa guy this week. I don't know why. I just got a little hunch.
You know what? I can see that pick because, it's that kind of a guy. If he can hit it straight and putt, you got a chance to win. And there are certain guys that win U.S. Opens. Max Homa might be one of those guys. Mickey, now you've got the seat in front of me to rip my heart out.
Well, last week I picked Matt Fitzpatrick, and this would be a perfect opportunity to pick him again.
Yeah, I think you
played
should.
The course the most recent. He won the amateur.
I think you should.
But I'm going to go with the hot player, McIlroy. He's playing so well. I just can't not take him.
Well, I was hoping you would take JT. I don't believe in Rahm this year. There's something missing there. Scotty Scheffler, I think he's in a bit of a slump right now. Is Justin Thomas the kind of guy that could win 2 majors in a row? Is he? He's so good with his short game. He does hit a few errant shots. I got to go JT. You've left him open there for me. I've got to go Justin Thomas. Johnny.
All right, I appreciate it, guys, because I'm going back with my old guy, Scotty Scheffler, who won the Masters for me.
There you go. Try to rebuild your lead. I understand that. Believe me.
Yeah.
I think Mickey I would have taken Rory. I think Rory, if he hits his irons the way he did last week, I don't see how he loses. I really don't. All right, now it's time for the shock. 51 or worse, which means Brian Harmon is 50. He's not eligible. All right, J-Mo, what crazy name are you coming up with this time? You were talking to me about some Italian guy.
Guido.
Because you like Guido's name.
Great name. And Eric Van Ruyen I was looking at too, but I'm going to go with Davis Riley. He's just been playing so well, and I've wanted to take him for a bunch of weeks. I'm going to take him this week.
All right.
I think that's a great pick. I'm going to go with Webb Simpson. Starting to get a little better. Hits it straight. Should be a good pick.
Webb Simpson. All right. Now, I want you to double-check this because you guys are probably going to think I'm crazy. But I believe Mark Leishman is now eligible. I am going to take Mark Leishman as my shock.
52.
That's what I thought. Unbelievable. And Johnny.
I'm going to take a long shot. Taking Phil Mickelson.
Can I make a separate lunch bet with you? Because I love going to lunch with you. I'm making a separate lunch bet with you right now, Johnny Lyon. Phil Mickelson does not make the cut.
Okay, you're on.
Okay. Love it. All right. So Max Homa, Davis Riley. That is the tandem that J-Mo's got. Mickey's got Rory McIlroy, Webb Simpson. I would have to place you as the favorite this week. I've got Justin Thomas and Mark Leishman. And Johnny's got Scheffler, who could easily win, but then he's gone crazy, and he's picked Phil Mickelson. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. One last thing. Mickey, is OP going to be ready? Is Overton Park, when you have this press conference next Thursday, is it going to look sparkling and gorgeous?
It's going to look good. Yes, it's going to look good. We're still dealing with a few washout areas in some of the rough areas, but the fairways, greens, tees, they're going to be fantastic. We really look forward to our opening day on the 24th, and then regular play for the public starting on the 25th.
Man, I think it's exciting. I am just – this is about – when you get all this stuff done in about 3 years – you are going to be the father of Memphis City Golf, the modern version. Yeah, I mean, terrific stuff, Mickey.
We are going to have some great golf courses, and again, I keep going back to the appreciation to the administration for seeing this through and adding so much money to the city.
That is Mickey Parker.
Having grown up at Overton Park, Mickey, you're doing a fantastic job.
He is, no doubt. Johnny Lyon, thank you. Mickey Barker, thank you. We'll do this again next week. Thank you, gentlemen. That is our grouping. We've got our picks all made. Can't wait for that U.S. Open to start. It's brought to you, by the way, in part, or Johnny and J-Mo, and, of course, Mickey. Brought to you by Conway. Is your air conditioning system working in this heat, in this humidity? Mine is, because I got the tune-up. The 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up you should all get. It's $69. It's really cheaper if you go and join the Comfort Club, and then you get 2 of those each year. But if you're just looking now, just think about it. They come out, first thing they're going to do is tune up the inside. There's 16 points they make sure are all in harmony. That gets you efficient. They go outside, and they clean up all the dirt and the leaves and the grime out of those outside units. That makes you more efficient, and by the way, your system lasts longer. And then they'll check your Freon and make sure the levels are proper so everything stays cool, and your bills go down, and your system lasts longer. And all it takes is one call, 384-3511. Get the Super Tune-Up Special from Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company. When we come back, we end Wednesdays, sort of our midweek specialty, with Jarvis Greer from Action News 5.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They say that the egg is nature's perfect food. That's hard to argue with, especially if you're talking about the farm fresh eggs at Sunrise on Jefferson, and you're talking about partnering them with all the other fast and fresh food at Sunrise. Slap an egg on one of Sunrise's signature square breakfast sandwiches, along with bacon and cheddar or house-smoked seasoned bologna, and you're in egg heaven. Why did the chicken cross the road? To become part of the mother and child reunion with fried chicken breast, house-made pickles, and Tabasco honey. That, friends, is nature's perfect food. That's Sunrise.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions. If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commissions, sales leads, and a great place to work. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flinn.com. Start your career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
I was talking about golf a little bit earlier, right? Golf also makes me think about Miramichi, that beautiful little place just north of downtown, about 10, 12 minutes away, Woodstock, with 7,400 yards of absolute championship-level golf surrounded by natural beauty. I always say the back nine is like walking through the woods with a meandering stream, and you've got plenty of competition within yourself or with your buddies, whatever it may be. I mentioned 7,400 yards, but you can go to 5,500 yards. I like to play at 6,300 yards. You've got choice, and you've got plenty of people telling you how beautiful this is. Golf Week a couple of years ago said, when you're talking about the best courses, they went state by state, and they put Miramichi prominently as a place you must play when you are in the state of Tennessee. You always get complimentary range balls. You get the cart thrown in. Today, if you're a senior, you can play for $33. Tomorrow, too. That's just the way it works. Even on the weekends, it's about $55. You're talking one heck of a great round of golf. And then you can end your round outside if you want to on the terrace, a 10,000 square foot outpost that overlooks the beautiful course. Talking ponds and fountains and great sky. And you could have 400 guests up there. And they got full screen TVs, full service bar. It's a great place to end your round. The whole experience is terrific at Miramichi. Jarvis Greer always ends our Wednesdays. How are you today, my friend?
Doing good, Dave. How about you?
I'm good. I'm excited about the U.S. Open. I'm excited about 901 FC playing. We got the Stanley Cup tomorrow. We got Boston, but and Golden State. But there was news yesterday, and you being a guy who covers and is a season ticket holder of the Memphis Grizzlies, you had to agree, because this was a no-brainer, to extend the contract of Taylor Jenkins. Now, we don't know the years. I don't even care the money, but you think about it. Robert Pera has locked up the two geniuses behind this, unbelievable future, and they've done this in such a short period of time. I didn't think they'd make the playoffs last year, and here they were with the second-best record, and they've got Zach Kleiman locked up, and now they got Taylor Jenkins locked up.
Oh, ye of little faith, Dave. You didn't think they'd make the playoffs last year?
I really did not. I did not.
Well, we're season ticket holders, my wife and I, and we go pretty much every game, and if it's not at the game, I'm seeing them on TV, and you could just see the talent that they have. But it's not just that. With Richard Cho, and who they brought in from Charlotte to help Zach Kleiman get a little bit more experience in the front office, and those guys, man, they go in their lab, and he does his mad scientist deal. That's why they call him King Kleiman, and that was the smartest thing to do, to lock him up, because other NBA teams are going to be looking for GMs who have, the in or that it factor, knowing how to find talent and then grow talent. And then locking up Taylor Jenkins, who is, they've established a culture, not just, just in the front office, but also front office working with the coaching staff. And that, we've seen the results of this on the court. Of course, you get lucky and you get the number 2 pick in the draft. You bring in Ja, and the players they put around them are all growing, and they're all doing well. So the future is indeed very bright for a franchise that's made some really, really smart moves over the last couple of years.
Well, he's going to lock up Ja. He's already got Jaren Jackson lined up, locked up, I should say. I guess the next guy would be Desmond Bain. I don't know what happens with Dylan Brooks. I heard this rumor the other day coming from Denver that it was a possibility that Memphis would send DeAnthony Melton, and I don't remember if it was the 22nd or the 27th pick, but they would send those things to the Nuggets and get Will Barton, which would be, in my mind, a fantastic trade.
Well, Will Barton has definitely proven to be a really, really good player for the Nuggets. And DeAnthony Melton and several of these other players and Dylan Brooks, it's like you got chemistry going with this team now. And think about this, Dave. The Grizzlies this past year, only had maybe 25 games total where they played with their entire roster intact.
Right.
Dylan Brooks missed about 2 months of the season there when he sprained that ankle really badly on a West Coast trip. So he was out, and that elevated, the kid out of Stanford that they drafted.
Zaire Williams.
Turned out to be really, really good.
Zaire Williams.
That elevated him to get some minutes to play. And then, Ja missed the last 20 games of the season. So, and then you saw what they did against Golden State, which is right now in the driver's seat to win the NBA title.
And they did that without Ja and without Steven Adams for half the series.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I'm saying run this thing back as far as keeping Dylan Brooks. Now, I think if you make moves, you make them around the edges with some of the fringe players. But I'm not giving up the depth that this team had because they were able to run with Golden State using that depth. When you start trading away multiple pieces just to get one piece back and say that one piece, they start out good, but they get hurt or something else happens, they miss games, you're screwed basically. Yeah. So I think, they really haven't had a full season with this group. They did, in the playoffs, they were all together when they came out of the play-in tournament against Utah, but they were still young yet. Now they played a team in Golden State that's got umpty years of experience. All those guys are in their early to mid 30s on the Golden State roster, except for Jordan Poole and Wiggins. But all their other key contributors are all up in their mid 30s. So you got a chance now. You've seen what the mountaintop looks like. And in my opinion, you keep this group together, you got a chance to get there.
And in your opinion, no, I shouldn't say opinion, these facts that you presented with me earlier today.
Yeah, we spit
when
facts,
we were
Dave.
talking,
That's what we do.
That's exactly right. That the world is watching, because when it comes to social media, the Grizzlies are what?
Yeah, they're fourth overall for the fastest growing social media fan base in the entire NBA. That's fourth. You got some established teams that have been there forever.
In New York, in Los Angeles, in Sacramento, they're all looking at the Grizzlies?
They're looking at the Grizzlies. And to give you some contrast, in the NFL, the Tennessee Titans are second to last in their social media fan base engagement and how they grow. So you just can see first of all, you get a superstar in Ja, and then you win, and then you're very entertaining on top of all that. So that shows you what kind of what we're dealing with here right now in Memphis. We got a team that's and a franchise that's poised to reach the highest of heights that have never been seen here, and that never were thought about here. Just think about it, Dave. The Grizzlies have been in the playoffs more than they have not.
I know. That is crazy. And it's good to know we finally beat Nashville at something. Last thing, you only got...
the Redbirds won last night, too, now.
Oh, okay.
They beat Nashville last night.
You only got a
minute.
They're
knocking balls out of the park.
1 minute. What do you think about the hire of Frank Haith?
Oh, it's like, we talked earlier about this today, you and me, and it's like, well, if you can't beat them, you have them join you. And that's because you remember Frank Haith had the voodoo. He had the mastery over Penny Hardaway with that matchup zone at Tulsa. And now, you bring in a guy that's got great experience. He's won National Coach of the Year when he was in the Big 12 at Missouri. He won Big 12 Coach of the Year. And also, he won the American Athletic Conference Coach of the Year when he was at Tulsa a couple of years ago during the pandemic. So you bring in a guy with lots of experience. He's 56. I think Penny's 50 now. So he knows his deficiencies. Penny does. He knows what he needs, and he needs some older heads in there to help him do what he needs to do to get this thing done at Memphis. And getting Frank Haith in is like a major win.
He absolutely pulls a rabbit out of his hat every single year. As always, my friend, it's a pleasure. We'll do this again next Wednesday. In the meantime, you can hear Jarvo spew all those facts out just like snapping his fingers every night at 6 and 10 on Channel 5.
You got that right. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. We appreciate it. That's Jarvis Greer, brought to you in part by another local thing. Jarvo's all local. So is Poppy's Pills. That's the Pilsner from Grind City Brewing. I love talking about it because it is good, light, crisp, refreshing. A Pilsner that my kids like to say is ultra crushable or built for speed. It is the Grind City thing. I love Tiger Tail, but I think I like this Pilsner when it's really hot even more. It's best enjoyed ice cold. I think it's great after you've cut your lawn, worked on your pool, played around the golf. It's served everywhere. And you get it in 6-packs or 15-packs. And your favorite retailer, I promise you, has those great products from Grind City Brewing. So when it's hot and you're looking for something to refresh you and to lift your spirits, there's nothing like what the doctor ordered. Poppy's Pills, the Pilsner from Grind City Brewing. We thank Jarvis Greer. We thank Johnny Lyon and Mickey Barker. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everyone.
I often say they've set the bar